49er touchdown. Rice touchdown. Rice touchdown. 49er touchdown.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. The last time we saw each other was for Super Bowl 24 in New Orleans, when we saw the San Francisco 49ers taking it to the Denver Broncos. For both those teams, yes, even the Broncos, that game was one of the highlights of their careers. But if to play in the Super Bowl is the ultimate high, then to be selected in the first round of the NFL draft or to play in the Pro Bowl comes a very close second. Tonight, we'll be taking a look at both of those events, as well as bringing you up to date on all the news from around the NFL. But first, let's go back to last February, when the cream of the NFL and Gary Imlach met on the beaches of Hawaii.
This is Waikiki, Honolulu, home of Hawaii's most famous beach and the greatest concentration of hotels anywhere in the world. The last count, there were 220 here per square mile. And with figures like that, what better place for the men with the best figures in the NFL to come for their annual post-season package holiday.
Moon for the end zone. Touchdown. Dickerson breaking tackles and taking it home.
Complete to Holohan, who takes a real pop from Ronnie Lott.
The Pro Bowl is an exhibition match between the best players in the AFC and the NFC as voted by their fellow professionals. But the game is almost secondary to Pro Bowl week, an expenses-paid opportunity for players to put aside rivalries, have fun with their families, and generally get away from it all. Or at least most of it. Fans, like TV cameras, are inescapable. Outside the game itself, the closest the week gets to competition is on the golf course, where men who've spent the season trying to beat each other to a pulp try more sophisticated forms of combat.
Right glove. Wrong side of the green.
To be fair, though, the Pro Bowl isn't just a holiday for the game's best players. Or come to that, best former players.
That's right, Gary. The guys are here to have a good time, and they all seem to be having a lot of fun. But whether you're a rookie or a 9-year veteran, the Pro Bowl means a whole lot more in personal terms. If the Super Bowl is the greatest team honor, then the Pro Bowl is the highest individual one. And nobody should know that better than Lawrence Taylor of the New York Giants, who's been here every year since his rookie season.
It's not actually the game that's the big important thing. It's the respect that comes with being voted to the Pro Bowl. It shows you that the players around the league still respect what you do, how you do it, and that's the big factor of the Pro Bowl.
Is the 9th as important as the 1st? Or as much fun and have as much meaning?
Well, I think the first one, you really play harder, try harder, you do more things, and it's almost like a extra game in the year. As you get older, you maybe don't play in the games as much. You give the younger guys an opportunity to experience what Pro Bowl is all about. You know, I've been here 9 times. I don't need to go out here and knock somebody's head off. I've done it during the year, so I don't need it anymore. So when I'm in the game, I'm there to have fun and to play hard, but I don't expect to play as much. I go in maybe a quarter or so, play, and give the young guys a chance to show their talent.
One of those youngsters is Denver's rookie place kicker, David Treadwell. For him, the Pro Bowl is a chance to make up for the disappointment of his team's huge Super Bowl defeat the week before in New Orleans.
Sure, it helps to, help you forget the bad feeling you had, kind of a bitter taste you get from the Super Bowl. Sure, you're excited to be there. A lot of guys don't get that opportunity during their career. I felt very fortunate to get there in my first year. Of course, we would like to come away with a victory. Disappointed in that aspect, but coming here has got to be the best way to get over a loss like that.
But perhaps the best summary of what the Pro Bowl's about comes from a man who's seen it from both sides, the great Washington Redskins quarterback and now television commentator, Joe Theismann.
Mick, the Pro Bowl is something very special. I don't know whether guys really can appreciate it. First of all, you're elected to the Pro Bowl by your peers and by coaches. And most of us that play the game are always criticized or analyzed by media personalities who've never really had an opportunity to play the game, whether it's a writer or a television guy, who never reached the level where we did. to be given the honor to play in a Pro Bowl, to me, is one of the greatest honors that an athlete can receive, because these are the people that know all the prices you've paid, all the pain you've gone through, and you're really over here with the absolute best in the industry, and I think it's a great honor.
Personal prestige and a week among the palm trees are all very well, of course, but they don't pay the rent, or in the case of most footballers, buy the Rolexes. Fortunately for them, though, Hawaii this week is full of the kind of guys who can turn hard-won recognition into hard cash.
You know, he's pretty excited about it. I'm pretty excited about it. I know you people have to be pretty excited about it, so we're all pretty excited about it, so let's close the deal. Okay, I'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.
Steve Rosner may not cut the most athletic figure at practice during Pro Bowl week, but he's the financial muscle behind the likes of Lawrence Taylor.
Hey, Steve. What's the deal?
And when it comes to contract renegotiation time, he knows the importance of a Pro Bowl appearance.
I think it means a lot, as far as their exposure and as far as their contracts are concerned. For example, let's take Dave Meggett from the New York Giants. He signed a 2-year deal, and his first year he comes in and makes the Pro Bowl. I would imagine is going to go just play out his second year and then go in there and, you know, say, hey, this is what I've done. On the other hand, Eric McMillan, who plays for the New York Jets, has signed a 3-year deal when he first came in the league. In the first 2 years, he has made the Pro Bowl. I think he has a little ammunition to go back in right now and try to get more money. And truthfully, the name of the game is, you know, make as much dollar that you can now, because it's going to end.
For appearing in the Pro Bowl, players earn a guaranteed $5,000 with an additional $5,000 for the winners. Most of them also have incentive clauses in their contracts which pay them bonuses just for being selected.
I think it's $20,000. I'm not really sure. I didn't look back and find out. I was more busy about getting my flight arrangements and everything else to get here that I don't know the exact amount, but it's somewhere in that area.
And there's more money to be made off the field. On the strength of his Pro Bowl appearances, Lawrence Taylor has made $1 million on the golf course and gets more for wearing a brand-name hat than many professionals do.
Truthfully, I did not know a figure what to put on it. And, you know, just the top of my head, I had previously just closed a deal for Lawrence at $100,000 with another company, so it was fresh in my mind. And I said, well, I think $100,000 for the year might do it. And they didn't blink an eye.
Lawrence, when we saw him out at the golf course the other day, was wearing a Channel 4 T-shirt. If we wanted to pay him to wear that shirt, how much would it cost us?
Well, since I've done some work with you guys before, and Lawrence knows one of your guys, Mick Luckhurst, I would think that it'd probably only cost you, you know, a couple £100,000.
He's making all this money. What's your share?
My share? Well, my philosophy is the more they make, the more I make. Usually in our industry, it's a 20% situation. So for every dollar that Lawrence makes, he makes 80%, and I make 20%.
So you're happy to see him keep coming back to the Pro Bowl?
I have no problem with that at all.
Surrounded by all this wheeling, dealing and fun, it's sometimes hard to remember that there is a game. And the two men responsible for getting the players from all around the league ready are John Robinson and Bud Carson, the head coaches of the two runners-up of the Conference Championship games.
You're not playing with your own players, you know, and you've got 4 practices for all practical purposes. That's the only time you have to get them ready. So it's not very long, and you don't really even know who's going to play over there. So it's you know, it's an all-star game. It's a special deal, and people want to see an offensive game. We're going to try to give it to them.
But there the coaches face another problem, dropouts by quarterbacks. Warren Moon, the AFC starter, did arrive, although his backups, Boomer Esiason and John Elway, chose not to. In the NFC, both the starter, Joe Montana, and his backup, Don Mikowski, cried off, instead giving free trips to Hawaii to Mark Rippon of the Redskins and Randall Cunningham of the Eagles. Is there a reason it's predominantly quarterbacks that don't come to the Pro Bowl?
Well, I think there is. I think quarterbacks are probably the most vulnerable players here. They're such great pass rushers, defensive linemen, the rest of the passes. Pass blocking is not that proficient. It's a part of the game that needs great teamwork and continuity to be successful, keeping those guys out. So the quarterbacks then become vulnerable, and they've had a couple of years here where quarterbacks have been embarrassed.
To avoid such problems, the NFL has introduced rules specifically for the Pro Bowl, which limit what the defenses can do.
There's no 4-man line this year, which should make the pass rush a little less potent. There's no bump and run by the corners, which should make the pass receivers come open quicker, and the quarterback shouldn't have to hold the ball. That should limit the number of times he gets knocked down. Now, Whether or not it happens that way, I don't know. That's the way the NFL Rules Committee would like to see it happen, to try to get these a little pressure off the quarterbacks and get them coming back here.
Missing quarterbacks or not, preparation for this year's Pro Bowl were perhaps the most competitive ever. The reason, all the recent talk of an imbalance between the AFC and NFC.
After what happened in the Super Bowl, I really believe that the guys that are playing in the AFC are saying, look, this may be a small victory, but it's a victory that we can go after and not continue to prove the fact that the NFC has been dominant, because the NFC has won 11 of the 19 games, so they have the edge in the Pro Bowl as well.
We've got a lot of guys here for the first time. Not all of them, obviously, but we've got a lot of players here for the first time, and I think those are the people that'll respond a little bit more to the AFC-NFC thing. You're in every ballgame to win, so there they are and we are. And I don't want it to be like last year, 34-3.
And neither did his players. And by kickoff time, I can promise you the luau's, golf and beaches had been forgotten. And it was time for the elite from the American Football Conference to try and regain some respect as they took on the best from the NFC in this year's Pro Bowl. With the American Conference playing in white and the National in blue, the first half was mainly a case of trial and error, with many penalties. Detroit's kicker Eddie Murray broke the deadlock midway through the first quarter with this 23-yard field goal, and added to it early in the second with a 41-yarder. The AFC were having a tough time of it, but within the last 2 minutes of the first half, Kansas City's running back, Christian Okoye, ended a 12-play, 80-yard drive with this 1-yard run. So the AFC led by 1 point at the half, but with their first possession after the break, Houston's Warren Moon threw this interception. We now rejoin the action with the NFC on the AFC's 32-yard line.
You start the game throwing to Jerry Rice, why not do it again?
Rice, first down, dragged out of bounds by Albert Lewis, the Chiefs' sensational corner. Lewis and Ross both made the Pro Bowl this year. Cunningham says one of the reasons he wanted to be in this game was to play with Jerry Rice.
I was looking forward to working with Rice, and I think that he's so smooth. He doesn't look like he's going fast, but he is. And I think that being able to work with him gives me confidence. So it wasn't like I thought he couldn't do it because everybody knows he can. I just like the opportunity to be with him and throw the ball to him.
Having Barry Sanders on your side isn't bad either. Sanders down to the 16-yard line. 11 carries, 34 yards. And I think that's the thing that's bothered defenses ever since Jerry Rice has been in the league. He does not look like he is that fast. And yet when the ball's in the air, he sprints by people.
He has that great ability to drop it one more gear and just turn it on. I mean, you're running neck and neck with him. He doesn't look like he's running. You're really going hard to stay with him. And then all of a sudden he pulls away and accelerates for a touch.
2nd and 4. Rice dives to the 10. He's got a first down. Let's go to the sideline. Tom Jackson. TJ?
Here with Timmy Harris. Timmy, you and Reggie made quite a combination.
Yeah, we ran a little beast on there, and they left him wide open to block the pass, and I caught in the air, try to get him run, but somebody's already on my back.
You catch that ball or you trap it?
No, I caught that ball. I caught that all the way. I was pretty upset. I missed Warren Moon in the end zone earlier, so I tried to make a big play later on, so finally came through, so I'm looking forward for the next one.
And you only pulled out one gun this time?
Yeah, because it wasn't a sack. I only pull out sacks and I have to get two guns in. When I get one gun, just a run play or something like that, so I shot him pretty good.
We might see 2 before the game's over.
TJ, I bet we will. Sanders, great stutter step to the 6-yard line. Some guys do that and don't gain any yardage. He does it and picks up 4.
But he's not moving forward. It looks like, he literally comes to a complete stop, laps that leg out, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's back up in the hole. Has great vision. I really believe that runners, Eric Dickerson's that way, although Barry Sanders is a little different. He runs from only about 5 or 6 yards deep. Dickerson runs from about 7 or 8, so he has a chance to see from tackle to tackle. Barry Sanders has to make quicker decisions up inside. I think it's even more difficult, which is more of a credit to him.
2nd and 6. The NFC could make a first down inside the 1-yard line. Meggett and Hilliard are the backs. Cunningham scrambling. Fumble. And it looked like Guy McIntyre from the 49ers out-hustled everybody and picked it up. Cunningham hit from the blind side, and McIntyre does make the recovery.
Randall Cunningham, most dangerous when he starts to run. Now he steps up into the pocket. Bruce Smith comes flying from nowhere. Orfadol almost makes the play. McIntyre finally winds up with it.
Cunningham to Meggett. Touchdown. At 5'7", 180, he got lost over the middle.
Well, Dave Meggett doing what Dave Meggett does best. He just comes out of the backfield. He'll let the linebackers drop into the coverage. Remember, there's not a lot of complex. They can't double up on people. Now he just cuts in really where there isn't anybody home. All the linebackers have gone back out to cover the wide receivers. Now he's got to push Keith Jackson out of the way to get in the end zone.
Meggett had 5 touchdowns in his rookie year, all over 30 yards, and then a 76-yard punt return against the Raiders. So he just had a sensational big play first year.
Randall Cunningham just 3 for 11 in the first half for 30 yards. And on that drive, he was 3 for 3 for 26.
13-7 NFC, 10-17 to go, third quarter.
Welcome back. With the NFC leading 13-7, we rejoin the game midway through the third quarter, with the NFC on their own 39-yard line.
NFC football are already up 13-7, and now we have a beach ball on the field.
I'll tell you something, that thing blew a long way because we're inland a little bit. George Toma running out and getting it, making sure his field is kept nice and clean.
Groundskeeper emeritus.
Oh, he killed it.
George just wasted one. Anything on George's field is free game. Cunningham on the run. Complete to Carrier. Minifield brings him down at the 28-yard line, and Mark Carrier, the Buccaneer, in his first Pro Bowl, gains 32.
The beginning of that drive, that's the 5th NFC drive that starts outside the 40-yard line. They have not had a long way to go and only managed to put up 13 points. But this is what Randall Cunningham does. He starts up the field, causes the defense to come to him, creates an opening for his wide receivers downfield, and as good a job as Minifield did, Carrier still manages to come up with the completion.
That's where the beach ball came from, to the left of your screen.
I told you, blew a long way in.
Well, that's where the beach is. Sanders tried to cut back. Mike Johnson waiting for him. And Michael Dean Perry also there. Sanders had a lot of action, not a lot of yards. Hasn't had too many opportunities to gain much. 38 yards on the day.
Really what you do in a game like this is what you get, you basically pick up by yourself.
Up front now for the NFC, Zimmerman, McDaniel, Hilgenberg, Freilich, and Slater. As everybody on this roster gets a chance to play quite a bit. Fake to Sanders. Nice play action by Cunningham. Has to unload and too high. Intercepted. Picked off by Clay Matthews. Matthews looking to lateral the football. Nobody there to lateral it to, and he goes down. So reminiscent of the game where he intercepted a pass that we did and then turned around and just threw it up in the air and gave it back to the other team.
That was that last game of the season against Houston. He turns around after he gets the ball. And Bud says, hey, thanks a lot for holding on to this one. I really appreciate it.
27-yard return. And the penalty is against the NFC. It's declined. Cunningham's pass behind Keith Jackson, and a real smile on the face of Bud Carson.
I know he was just standing there waiting for him to bounce the ball back to somebody. There's Clay Matthews. Now look, they faked a little reverse, somebody running the other way. Look at him switch the ball. He knows what he's doing. Protects the ball, tucks the elbow over it. Now he falls down when somebody gets real close.
Break for the AFC, trailing 13-7 with 5:39 to go in the third quarter. Moon under pressure, hit from behind. Dolman got there. The NFL sack leader with a different dance.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
There's a new one.
That's his Pro Bowl sack dance.
Left side of your screen, Chris Dolman. Like I said, the most difficult thing is for the offensive lineman to try and block these guys one-on-one. Dolman just comes around, swats the ball loose. Tim Harris almost manages to get to it. But Max Montoya manages to make the recovery.
Third time that the AFC quarterback has been sacked. It's been Warren Moon every time. Dolman, pretty good numbers for a guy who started as a linebacker and wasn't cutting it. Switched him to defensive end. He's an all-pro. Okoye, the Nigerian nightmare, and that's why running over people. And everybody who was in on the tackle is getting up slow.
Ronnie Lott just came flying in. He's probably asking himself now, why? Why did I do that? You know, I didn't hit Eric Dickerson head on. I decide I want to hit Christian Okoye head on. I mean, that was purely an instinctive move. I'm sure if he had a chance to think about it, he wouldn't do it again.
Probably saying to himself, judgment.
That's right. Got to make good judgments in these games.
Ball at the 39-yard line. 4:47 to go, third quarter. Moon with that short drop, intercepted by Gray. Throw it right to him. Jerry Gray. Touchdown. 51 yards.
Warren Moon wants to go inside. Gets a little bit of pressure from Tim Harris. Brian Blades can't quite get there. Looks like Lawrence Taylor might have tied him up just long enough. Jerry Gray picks it off. Once he gets in the open, nobody's going to catch him.
Jerry Gray in his 5th year out of Texas. 6 interceptions this year. Returned one of those for a touchdown, 27 yards.
So the AFC's offense still couldn't get things moving. The NFC were forced to punt on their next possession, and Bud Carson then sent in Seattle's Dave Craig as quarterback. But he needed time to warm up.
Dave Craig back in. They ran some kind of flea flicker, threw the ball away. Keith Millard picks it up. Touchdown! Holy cow!
I told you there'd be trick plays. I just didn't tell you which team they'd have it for. Here's another look at it. Hits his hands. Now, he doesn't even know he doesn't have it. Now, all of a sudden, Swilling comes in. He kicks it. Millard says, well, it's football. Let me pick it up and run with it.
Millard says, I'll use my hands, thanks.
That's a goal. I mean, that's one. I don't know where he thought it went. I mean, maybe his wristbands are a little tight. I'm not sure.
With that bizarre play, the AFC found themselves even further behind. However, the defense held the NFC on their next possession, and we rejoined the next AFC drive near midfield.
Dickerson, a little hesitation. Reggie White brings him down. Of course, Craig and Rippon were both living in the state of Washington when they got the phone call. They were on the next plane over here. A little chilly in Washington in February. Roger Craig, who we have not seen in this ball game. I think he's a little bit banged up.
He did practice, but he, in all likelihood, will not see any action. He's just trying to take care of himself. They'll start training again in the week anyway, those two guys.
2nd and 7. Craig dumps it to Dickerson, all wrapped up by Vaughn Johnson, and then Swilling comes in to help.
This is the last official game of the NFL season, and you know, they had actually the most important thing I really believe that the teams had to do was get their 37 protected. They had to get the plan Bs all squared away. Now they have a chance to sit down and take care of the unsigned.
Of course, there has been precious little movement of restricted free agents under this plan. I think there were only a couple of offers.
There isn't
last
free
year.
agency, Mike.
Wilbur Marshall was one 2 years ago.
You know, to call it free agency, it's a plan that's modified for a little bit of movement, but the owners want to keep their good football players, and I think it's great. Now they're at a point where the compensation numbers are getting really up high. Not just for the quarterbacks. Everything is a trickle down. The quarterbacks are going to make $4 and $5 million. It means the linemen, the guys that take care of them, are going to get more, and they're going to want more.
Dickerson got only a yard, and Kevin Green wrapped him up. Clock ticking away, 11:50 to go in the Pro Bowl, and the AFC with the ball down by 20. Craig's moved the team well. You see him checking that wristband for the plays.
I think it's a good way to do it. I would say that every coach that comes over, even as simple as you make it, just make up a little wristband for the quarterbacks to wear, and it helps with the continuity of the offense.
Craig over the middle of the ball, tipped, almost intercepted. McDonald nearly got it after Chris Spielman tipped it. Down to the sideline again, and Tom Jackson.
You know, I know people have heard this before. You're going to be the thin man by the time you retire.
I want to come in next year at 185, and I feel like I can be a better player at that weight.
Quicker?
Yes.
Faster?
Explosive.
Niners. Niners.
Yeah. 3rd and 11, the screen to Dickerson. It's about 3 yards short of a first down, and I don't know anyone who trains as hard as Roger Craig in the offseason. One of the things that makes the 49ers such a great organization is they have players like that and leadership all the way to the top of Eddie DeBartolo that makes an attitude like that possible. Craig over the middle, incomplete. Thomas couldn't hold it. McDonald was right there. There's a flag down, and McDonald really upset by it, and I think he's got a beef.
No, I think he grabbed him, Mike. I don't think there was any question. David Craig didn't zip that one in there. He threw it a little bit slower, and I think that threw the timing off of the defense.
40, defense. First down.
Now, Tim McDonald, 46.
Watch the lower left side of your screen. See, David just eases this one out. Now, see the right hand? See that? Yeah, you got right hand on the hip.
After the interference, 1st and 10 at the 18. Dickerson to the 14-yard line. If you look back at Dickerson's career in '84, he had 2,105 yards. That's #1 all-time. That's mind-boggling.
He has been in systems that complement his running style, and he's been with some great all-pro linemen.
Craig with a pump fake, throws over the middle. Farrell Edmonds unloaded on. Ronnie Lott. Oh.
They're going to call it an incompleted pass. He never had possession. Ronnie Lott just continuing to hammer people.
Craig with time, throws short. Brian Blades to the 7-yard line, finally getting out of the shadow of his older brother, Benny. 1st and goal from the 6. We're under 9 minutes. Dickerson ducks under ball and then can't get any more yardage as Spielman and Lott come up to make the tackle.
Eric Dickerson being the workhorse, very much like Barry Sanders has for the NFC today.
Haven't seen much of Brooks and a little bit more of Thurman Thomas, and it's been a very effective drive, but taking a lot of time off the clock, and the AFC needs 3 touchdowns.
I really think they're trying to keep the ball away from the NFC.
Craig throws over the middle, touchdown Edmonds.
There he goes back in the pocket. Wants to work outside. Now just starts, well, maybe I'll run. No, maybe I won't. Little sidearm shot. Of course, Ronnie Lott's close by again. If there's contact, Lott's never very far away.
Extra point by David Treadwell of the Broncos. That will cut it to 27-14.
So the AFC on a comeback. They were further helped by their defense when on the NFC's next drive, Washington's quarterback Mark Rippon threw this interception.
Picked off by Johnson. Touchdown. There's the break.
So the difference is now only 6 points. The NFC ran down the clock but were forced to punt. We rejoined the action with only 2:46 left, and the AFC has started from their own 10-yard line.
There isn't a better quarterback in the game, and he's been hot in this game.
Keeping on the ground, rather a strange call to Dickerson with 2:39 left.
They've had a lot of balance with Dickerson running the ball and then David Craig picking out somebody to throw it to. Obviously, they're going to have to use all 4 downs. You can't punt the ball away at this stage and expect your defense to hold off if you want to win it. Of course, they're only losing by 6, 27-21.
What a defensive line in there. Harris, White, Ball, and Dolman.
Gee. You'd hate to make a living against that every day.
2nd and 8. Dolman jumped. Craig may have a free play now. Dolman after him. Holman, the Cincinnati tight end, has it. This guy can really run. And Joey Browner got a hand on him and pushed him out of bounds. We'll check the flag. It's a gain of 33. It looked like the NFC was offside.
Offside. 58 defense. It's declined. First down.
It was Dolman. And we are down to 1:58. The AFC has gotten itself out of a hole out to its own 44-yard line. They need a touchdown to win. Millard back in on the defensive line. Craig with time, guns it over the middle, dropped by Holman that time. May have seen Browner coming out of the corner of his eye.
Lower left-hand side of your screen. You see him just get by Spielman. Now Craig does an excellent, look at that, puts it right there, and you can bet he had a little bit of a right eye looking at Joey Browner.
2nd and 10, 1:52 to go. Millard jumps, may have been offside. Flag is down. Craig, knowing he's got a free play, now he'll run. First down and more, got out of bounds.
Offside, 75 defense. It's declined. First down.
Tom Jackson's on the sideline. TJ?
I'm only 31. You got about 90 candles on here, man. Come on, give me a break.
A lot of the offensive guys wanted to contribute to the number of candles.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to take them out and give them to all the players I beat next year.
Okay? Back upstairs.
Craig back to throw. He's been terrific. Gets it to Miller. Can't avoid the tackle by Chris Spielman, but picks up a few. Craig, when he gets his rhythm, is as good as anybody.
He really is. I mean, you know, he's in total command out there, too. He's waving the guys back to the huddle. He knows exactly how much time he has on the clock.
Dickerson in the flat. Got out of bounds, about a yard shy of the first down. McDonald drove him out of there. Had a good one here today, and 1:01 left, and a 6-point game. The AFC can win it with a touchdown and the point after.
The AFC actually has provided all the offensive show in this game. David Craig on a couple of drives. Defense for the NFC has made the big plays.
Dickerson. First down to the 25, and they'll call a timeout to stop the clock with 56 seconds to go. First and 10. Craig with good protection to Thurman Thomas. To the 18-yard line, covered by Singletary. Clock running. Craig doing this on the run.
Watch this. He's just said to him, running out, real simple. Look.
Throws to Blades, and that was a great throw because he saw Jerry Gray coming.
Got to believe that with the cornerbacks as well as they play, Carl Lee on one side, Eric Allen on the other, the way you want to isolate somebody is to get somebody in the middle of the football field.
Craig under pressure, unloaded as he was hit. Charles Mann made the sack. Let's see, will they call him down or say it's an incomplete pass?
They're going to call it incomplete.
4th down, 4 yards to go. Craig throws, complete, first down to Thurman Thomas. What a catch. And what a play by Craig.
Look at him go up in the air. Look at this.
Great catch by Thurman Thomas. They spot the ball at the 2. Fake to Dickerson. Craig throws it over Holman. And Jerry Gray came over to leave his calling card at the end of the play.
Yeah, they're serious. I mean, you know, you're talking 9 seconds for $5 grand.
That's right.
As quick as 5, you're either going to pick up or you're going to lose.
9 seconds to go. No timeout.
If you throw, you got time for 2 plays.
Craig has a man open. Touchdown, Blade. There is a flag down. Hold on. Brian Blades from his teammate David Craig will check the flag.
But it's going to be against the AFC.
We have an illegal formation. Number 76, offense. Number 76 was playing an ineligible position after reporting eligible. 2nd down.
That's Chris Hinton, the tackle.
See, left side of your screen. See him on the tackle position, left side. Number 92, Reggie White, is right in front of him. Now, what had happened is he came into the game to play tight end or be an eligible receiver, and he did line up at the tackle.
5 seconds left. They will not reset the clock on that violation. Here's the game. Craig throws it up for grabs. Too high for Reed. It's over. The NFC wins.
So Dave Craig was just that much away from a Pro Bowl comeback. Jerry Gray was voted most valuable player as the NFC ran out 27-21 winners.
And that's it from this year's Pro Bowl and from Hawaii. After the break, Mick will be looking at the chances of some possible future Pro Bowlers in a report on the 1990 NFL Draft in New York.
The Statue of Liberty, a gateway to America. Years ago, this site symbolized the new beginning. So perhaps fittingly, just a few days ago, this city was once again a gateway, but this time not just as a symbol, but as a concrete foundation, as over 20 college students became instant millionaires when New York hosted the annual NFL Draft. The draft, in theory, is quite simple. There are 12 rounds, and in each round, all 28 teams will have one pick. The team with the worst record in the previous year has the advantage of picking first. So the Dallas Cowboys, with a record of 1-15 in 1989, should have the best chance of picking the most talented college player. The Falcons, with the next worst record, get the second pick, and so forth, until the Super Bowl champion 49ers pick 28. Then it's time for the second round. Each of the 28 teams in the league has a full-time staff of scouts who fly from campus to campus assessing the college players. Hundreds of hours and millions of dollars are spent, and come draft day, these scouts' reports, plus information which is brought from specialized research companies, determines which player is selected by each team. 330-some players will be taken in today's draft. How many players do you look at, and how many are eligible?
Well, you look at even more than that, because a lot of these kids go as free agents and aren't even drafted, then come into the NFL and pick what team they want to sign with, and a lot of times they can come in and make a team. So you have to prepare yourself for thousands of players, and of course today and tomorrow we'll have the 330 selected. But beyond that, some players will be in the NFL, some will be in the other leagues that are starting up next year.
How important is the draft to each individual team?
It's tremendously important. It's the chief way of bringing players in an orderly manner. If everybody was a free agent, you'd have chaos. Now you have a way where teams, you can use their scouting departments, draft players, and try to build a team through trades and involving draft choices and veterans, however you want to do it. And outside of Plan B, it's the #1 way you build a football team.
Well, that's the theory, but now I'm going to throw you a few curveballs. The Atlanta Falcons, not the Dallas Cowboys, have the first pick, but only in the first round. This is as a result of the supplemental draft, which takes place in the summer. This secondary draft allows teams to pick players that have graduated from college since the main draft. Dallas, Denver, and Phoenix all selected players, thus losing their picks in the first round. The draft order is further complicated by transfers of players, who when moving from team to team are sold for draft picks, not hard cash. So due to the Gerald Riggs trade to the Redskins, the Falcons will have Washington's 20th pick, as well as their own first choice. The Redskins, as a consequence, will not enter the draft until the 21st pick of the second round. Further confusion was caused this year by the NFL's decision to allow college players in their junior year, that's 1 year away from graduation, to enter the draft. A decision they were forced into when Detroit's first-round pick last year, Barry Sanders, threatened legal action. Consequently, Paul Tagliabue found 36 juniors on his list of candidates as he opened the 1990 NFL Draft.
The first selecting position in this draft is held by Dallas, but Dallas exercised that choice last year. Atlanta is in the second selecting position in this draft. Atlanta has traded its choice to Indianapolis, so Indianapolis is now up. So Indianapolis selects Jeff George, quarterback from Illinois.
There he is. New quarterback, Indianapolis Colts, Jeff George.
Atlanta had the first pick. They traded it to Indianapolis. What sort of trade was that?
Terrible trade. Probably one of the worst draft day trades in history of the NFL for Indianapolis, a team that's had a history of doing the unknown on draft day or the illogical on draft day. And, of course, a trade for a guy that I didn't think was a first-round pick. Not only that, they gave up a top wide receiver, a blue-chip offensive tackle, and draft choices. A number 1 next year as well. So just a bad trade all around for a team going nowhere. I'm talking about the Indianapolis Colts.
For Atlanta?
Great trade. You know, they're sitting there with the number 1 pick. They would have probably opted for maybe McCants or Blair Thomas. Now they get a great receiver in that red gun offense, blue chip left tackle to fill a void, extra choices, and they still have 2 picks in the first 27. So really a potential bonanza for Jerry Glanville and the Falcons.
Well, I've always had confidence in what I can do, and it's a dream come true, really, and especially to play in my hometown of Indianapolis, and the kind of family that I have, and to be able to make them happy, it makes me happy.
The New York Jets select Blair Thomas, running back, Penn State.
And so the Jetniks, and there's Blair right there, running back from Penn State, just as good a football player as he is, he may be an even better person. He's a winner on every, and he has his number.
It was the Jets pick, and you were right here, waiting. What is it like?
It's a very exciting time. My heart was pumping. I was excited, hoping that they would select me. Once I heard this announcement, I was just really happy, excited, and didn't know what to do with myself. Put it that way.
Any chance, local boy, local hero?
Hopefully that'll work out. But I know right now I'm gonna go in there and try to do the best I possibly can to help this team win some football games.
The New England Patriots were due to follow the Jets, but the draft day trading continued.
The trade is as follows. New England trades its first and second round selections in this 1990 draft to Seattle in return for Seattle's first round selection in this 1990 draft. Indianapolis's first round selection in 1990, acquired earlier in the Fred Young trade, Seattle's third round selection in 1990, and Seattle's fourth round selection in 1991.
So Seattle were desperate to get their man and gave up a lot to make sure they got him. New England were willing to trade down the order to end up with more choices. Only a few of the college players actually attend the draft. Most, like Heisman Trophy winner Andre Ware, sat by the telephone with their families and the media.
This is what I wanted to do.
That's another call. This one's collect.
Hello? Yes, sir. Okay. Yes, sir.
This is live television right here.
All right. Hey, Lee, Wayne said hello.
Oh, Wayne Fox. Oh, I guess it's going to be Detroit unless he's changed jobs.
So Andre Ware goes to the run-and-shoot offense of Detroit. Some other major first-round picks included Keith McCants, the great linebacker from Alabama. Junior Seau from USC goes to San Diego. His teammate, Mark Carrier, goes to Chicago. Percy Snow, Michigan State, goes to Kansas City. And Emmitt Smith tries to fill Tony Dorsett's shoes. And Rodney Hampton, New York. I know the first rounder, Jeff George, was very excited. A new contract, $3.5 million up front and $16 million over 6 years. Where will it stop?
I don't know. You're going to ask some of the clubs. I guess we'll find out in the next 3 or 4 months. But he's a great player, and obviously the Indianapolis Colts wanted him, so they paid him an outstanding salary.
One of your big decisions that you had to make as commissioner was over juniors. 36 juniors in this year's draft. Do you think this is something that will continue, a trend that we'll see next year?
It's hard to know. I think we're going to have to see how these players throw the ball and run and block and tackle before we can tell whether there'll be more juniors or increasing numbers of juniors in next year's draft. I think that the clubs are of different opinions on that, and we'll know, I'm sure, by the end of next season whether juniors are encouraged or discouraged in terms of their prospects in the league.
So from the 55th annual NFL Draft, let's now go to the rest of the news from around the league. The NFL has announced a new format for its 16-game regular season. For the next 2 years, this will be played over a 17-week period, with each team having 1 free week. The 2 following seasons will see an 18-week period, so each team gets 2 Sundays off. The playoffs have been extended with 2 extra wildcard spots, meaning 2 additional teams will now make the playoffs. Commissioner Paul Tagliabue has just signed a major television deal worth nearly $1 billion for each of the next 4 years. He also stated that the NFL will expand by at least 2 teams before 1993. The World League of American Football is firmly on course for its launch in March 1991. It will feature a club from London, together with teams from Barcelona, Milan, Frankfurt, Mexico City, Montreal, and 6 cities in the United States, including Orlando, Florida, and Birmingham, Alabama. Raymond Berry was surprisingly among the coaching casualties. He was replaced by Rod Rust at New England. Bruce Kostler is now head man at the Jets, Joe Bugle at the Cardinals, and Jack Pardee at the Houston Oilers. He took over from Jerry Glanville, who is now in charge at the Atlanta Falcons, and his first decision was to change the team's colors. From now on, they play in, you guessed it, black. LA Raiders owner Al Davis has announced that he hopes to move the team back to Oakland. This deal is yet to be ratified, but one place they're definitely going to is London. This year's Wembley game will feature the Raiders and the New Orleans Saints on Sunday, August 5th. The game kicks off at 6 p.m. and you'll be able to catch highlights here on Channel 4. Well, that'll be in August, and I look forward to seeing you then. But for right now, I leave you with some highs and lows from both veteran and future NFL stars. So until the American Bowl, good night.